Went to the Sessions by William Shakespeare. Went to the Sessions is a sonnet by Shakespeare. A sonnet has been defined as a poem consisting of 14 lines and expressing a single emotion or idea, and written according to a particular scheme of which rhyme is an essential ingredient, though the rhyming is not uniform in all the sonnets. The two principal schemes are the Petrarchan or Italian and the Elizabethan or English. The Italian or the Petrarchan variety of the sonnet consists of two distinct sections, an octave, a group of 8 lines, and a sestet, a group of 6 lines. The sonnet is essentially lyrical and is actually a kind of lyric and therefore emotional and musical, even though the emotion is often subordinate to some idea. The rhyme scheme of the English, also called the Shakespearean or Elizabethan form of the sonnet, is generally AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG. Actually, the credit for introducing the sonnet into English poetry goes to White and Surrey, with the latter altering the Petrarchan scheme and replacing it with 3 quatrains and a couplet at the end, but to Shakespeare goes the credit for perfecting the latter form. When to the sessions. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new veil my dear times waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow, for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances forgone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of fore-bemoaned moan, which I knew pay as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. Now let us see the paraphrase. When in these sessions of gratifying silent thought I think of the past, I lament my failure to achieve all that I wanted, and I sorrowfully remember that I wasted the best years of my life. Then I can cry, although I am not used to crying, for dear friends now hid in death's unending night, and cry again over woes that were long since healed, and lament the loss of many things that I have seen and loved. Then can I grieve over past griefs again, and sadly repeat to myself my woes, the sorrowful account of griefs already grieved for, which the account I repay as if I had not paid before. But if I think of you while I am in this state of sadness, dear friend, all my losses are compensated for and my sorrows end. Sessions mean, in the first line, the sitting of a court. The court imagery is continued with summon up in line 2. The court motif is used several times by Shakespeare. In Othello, keep leets and law days, and in session sit with meditations lawful. Leets are court sessions. Old woes in line 4. By replaying his old woes over in his mind, the poet is wasting precious time that could be spent thinking more joyous thoughts. Hence, my dear times waste. Love's long since cancelled woe in line 7 means it is the sorrow the poet had once felt over the loss of his close friends, loss that has dulled over the years but now returns as he thinks of the past. and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. Some scholars interpret this line to mean I lament the cost to me of many a lost sigh. Sight for sigh was archaic by Shakespeare's time and seems only to have been used for the sake of rhyme. However, the ordinary word sight also makes sense in this context. That is, the poet has lost many things that he has seen and loved. Dear friend in line 13 was the Shakespeare's first use of the term dear friend in the sonnets. All losses are restored and sorrows end. The last line of this sonnet, line 14, means his friend is as great as the sum of all the things the poet sought but did not find. This is Sonnet 30 by Shakespeare. Sometimes the poet thinks of his past life and recalls the losses and the griefs which he has suffered. The memories of those losses and griefs sadden him greatly. Thus, a feeling of self-pity runs through the sonnet. At the end, however, Shakespeare feels consoled by the thought of his friend, the Earl of Southampton, who is still alive. This sonnet is a tribute to the poet's friend, whom many believe to be the Earl of Southampton. The poet's sorrowful recollections of dead friends are sparked by his absence, and can be quelled only by his thoughts, illustrating the poet's dependence on his dear friend for spiritual and emotional support. Shakespeare's use of alliteration over several lines enhances the texture and rhythm of the sonnet. We have an example here. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past. There is alliteration of the S sound here. The gist of the sonnet is sometimes I get lost in my thoughts and meditations as if I were holding a conference with myself. On such occasions, I recall the events and the happenings of my past life. I then feel very sad to think that I had not been able to acquire many things which I had tried to attain. In this way, I am filled with fresh sorrow because of the precious time which I wasted in my futile quest of those things. Tears fill my eyes, although I am not in the habit of shedding tears. Tears come into my eyes when I think of the dear friends who have died and vanished in the everlasting darkness. These tragic deaths took place long ago, and I had almost forgotten them. But now, when I recall them, I begin to shed fresh tears. I also begin to lament the disappearance of many of the sights which I used to witness in the past. In this way, I begin to experience once again the distress which I had previously experienced at the time when I was overtaken by those afflictions. A short analysis of Shakespeare's When to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. These rank among the most famous lines from Shakespeare's sonnets. The mood here is one of profound grief. The poet thinks of his past losses, misfortunes, sorrows, and griefs. His misfortunes include the deaths of some of his friends and the disappointments and frustrations which he experienced because of his inability to achieve many of the objects of his desire. The recollections of his past sorrows and misfortunes bring tears into his eyes, even though he had wept over those losses and misfortunes when they had actually befallen him. What the poet has said in his sonnet is psychologically true because it is a common experience for any one of us to sigh and grieve afresh over those losses and sorrows over which we had grieved at the time of their occurrence. Apart from the psychological truth of these lines and apart from the intensity, profundity, and deep sincerity of the grief in this poem, Shakespeare's felicity in the use of words and in combining words into phrases and lines is noteworthy here. Although this sonnet contains a poignant account of Shakespeare's losses and sorrows, yet the crucial lines are the last two in which Shakespeare affirms that he feels compensated for those losses and sorrows by the thought of his friend, namely the Earl of Southampton. In summary, Shakespeare tells us that when he starts to think back over his life, he begins to feel down when he reflects how he has failed to achieve the things he wanted and has wasted so much time. He weeps for his friends who are now dead, for unrequited love that has long since been banished from his mind, until now anyway. He also weeps for things which he can no longer look upon and enjoy. Then he is made unhappy again by insults and slights he has received in the past, that are dead and buried, and he can add up his list of woes as though they are recorded in an accounts book. These woes are all fore bemoaned, that is, he has already chewed them over many times and been made sad by them. It is as if he is paying for these past wrongs now for the first time, when in fact he has already done so many times over in the past. But if Shakespeare simply thinks for a short while about the young man, then all of his sorrows are banished and he is made happy again.